this is Tiffany Lin, principal of Lin Oldham office, and I'm also an assistant professor of architecture at Tulane University. Lateral Loop is an installation conceived with my partner Mark Oldham and constructed with a team of students from the Tulane School of Architecture led by graduate students Nels Erickson and Michael Green. This installation is situated in the Cabildo Museum of Jackson Square, and it's made of 176 bamboo poles that mark a path from Pirates Alley to the original center entry of the museum. It works as a contemporary sculpture during the day and a glowing path at night, lit by a series of ultraviolet black lights. We wanted to take part in this year's DesCours event because it offered the opportunity for us to experiment with materials and lighting to create a small site-specific sculpture, because we feel really strongly that installation works are important to the field of architecture because they're generally more accessible to the public and also offer opportunities for us to experiment with materials without the traditional restraints of making a building. New Orleans, and specifically our Cabildo site in Jackson Square, is a really interesting place for this installation because it's a hotspot for tourists and receives plenty of visitors during the day and also at night. So the transformation of this piece from a white sculpture to a glowing bluish purple tunnel can really be understood during this transition from light to darkness. This project was fabricated from locally harvested bamboo poles from the bamboo gardens of Louisiana. Each pole was stripped, sorted, and then cut into 10-foot segments and then dipped into a trough filled with homemade emulsion of white paint and phosphorescent agents. The poles were then bent and joined into complementary arcs and attached with heat shrink tubing, and then arranged individually on site in the composition of the undulating passageway that you're looking at. Audience interaction is integral to this piece because it serves as a place where visitors can both be the audience and the spectacle. So as people walk through the tunnel, particularly at night, white articles of clothing that have phosphors in them will also glow with the bamboo poles, and they become a way of activating this new path. It was important to us that this piece was situated in a historic setting because it's very contemporary and white, and the floating arches sort of deviate visually and spatially from the existing historic arcade. Our goal was to highlight the laterally looped passage that visitors have taken ever since the original arcade was gated for security. As you know, traditional arcades typically often offer open passage under each arch, but the Cabildo loggia is unique in that the front arches are all gated, so free passage is no longer available, and visitors can only enter from the center or the side flanks. So the frontal arches are really out of use in the traditional sense of a loggia. So Lateral Loop then acts as a spatial device that defines and celebrates this side path as a usable interactive event space. Black lights are engaged nightly on a timer to activate phosphorescent pigments in the white bamboo poles that glow vividly in the darkness and actually reveal a new figure, since the emulsion that we glaze the poles with after the installation is not one-to-one to the poles themselves. So when you look at it during the day and at night, it actually makes a separate figure. Viewing this installation at night is important because the bamboo arches glow in the dark, and the pattern of joints and the non-glowing base is then highlighted. The darkness also allows the glowing path to become a space where visitors can interact with each other in a fanciful manner under the ultraviolet black lights. The fact that there is constant public activity becomes part of the project because Jackson Square is so full of tourists and performers, and people can view this piece from either outside the loggia or choose to walk through the paths and experience the space within the existing historic path. So thank you for visiting our installation. Again, this is Tiffany Lin, and I hope you enjoy our piece.
The next stop on your tour is number 10, Nocturnal Escapes, by Lian Pei and Coco Hoviguimian. The installation, along with number 11, are located at 1014 Dumaine Street. Exit the Cabildo and make a left and walk past the cathedral, to the other side of Jackson Square. Walk 2 more blocks to Dumaine and make a left. Walk 4 blocks past Burgundy Street. You'll find site number 10 and 11, just past the corner on the left. Look for the DesCours 2009 signage.